just a remarkable 2 fights. The first fight, obviously different to the second fight, a fight where we needed to stay calm, fight with no emotion, follow the game plan. I thought Conor Benn was just sensational tonight, a mature performance, and just a massive victory, stepping up 2 divisions, fighting a middleweight, and I guess becoming the first Ben to beat a Eubank Nigel. Sorry, mate. And now we move on to do what he hasn't done yet, which you did, which was to win a world title. But before I open to the floor, I just want to say how proud we all are of Conor Benn. It was probably only a year ago, honestly, where you talk about on the floor, this guy was completely finished, mentally, emotionally, financially, and he never stopped fighting. He never stopped training, and he never stopped fighting. And I think, I said earlier in the ring, this event, sponsored by Movember, which is a charity designed to aid men's mental health. We talk about suicide rates and stuff like that. If people knew how down he was and how much trouble he was in all those parts of his life, he should be a true role model, an inspiration to those people to show there's always a way out. He always kept the faith, and he never stopped working, and he kept on believing. And there were times when people said, just jack it in, Con, he said, no, I'm not giving up, I'm not going to stop fighting for my name. And he did that out of the ring, and tonight was a culmination of all the hard work of a young man that we saw make his professional debut at the O2, who was all over the place. A guy that honestly I didn't believe would win an area title. He's just filled Tottenham Hotspur Stadium twice. He's secured his family and his children's financial legacy forever, and now we're going to move on and make a true legacy in the sport to win a world title. So I wanted to say we're very proud of Conor Benn and everything he's done. He's an inspiration to people to show you there's always a way back. So well done, Conor Benn. Questions to the floor? Yeah. Hold on, sorry, we're going to mic.
Yeah, congratulations, Conor. Did you anticipate, given what happened in the first fight, the second fight being quite so straightforward for you and you dominating in that fashion?
I think for me it was a matter of, when I said I beat myself that night, I really did feel like I beat myself. It wasn't the strategy, it wasn't the game plan. My head wasn't in the right place to fight. They say a strong mind can carry a weak body, but a strong body can't carry a weak mind. And I looked strong, I looked very strong, but I was still broken. I had to fight for many reasons, for financial reasons, to be active, to give the public the fight. The public wouldn't have accepted any other fight, so I felt like I owed it to the public to have that fight. But was I ready? No, I can't say I was. But ultimately, I've gone in there and stayed disciplined and showed that I can box, the bigger man, without getting drawn into a fight, which is what he tried to do, and which we very easily could have done. When I hurt him in the first or the second and I threw a haymaker, it very easily could have gone that way, but I just had to keep my emotions at bay and stay disciplined in there.
You spoke in the build-up about this being your last fight at 160 and welterweight being the target, but given how heavy you came in and how well you handled it, do you think there might be maybe a fight at 54 before? Will you go straight to welterweight now?
I think for me, winning the WBC world title is heavy on my heart, heavy on my mind. Getting that WBC world title was the belt my dad won. It was the belt I would love to win. It's my dream. So for me to be one up on my dad with the Eubank Benn rivalry and also win the WBC world title, it'll be some moment for me.
Just one last one. I wondered how you felt in the ring, looking out and 50 Cent turning up. Did anyone tell you that was happening?
No, but what's 50 Cent going to do?
Conor, a contrast of emotions. Only a few months ago you were obviously very down after the first fight. You've been through a hell of a lot. Does tonight almost feel like light at the end of the tunnel? Like you just walk through that door and it's all worked out?
I feel like I'm going to go home and cry. I feel like I'm going to go home and cry, yeah. Because it's just... Oh man, it's been hard. Facing my first loss, coming back from adversity. It's things you got to do. As a man, you go through things in life and you don't know why, but you just have to keep fighting. Staying in shape, staying in the gym, turning up when you really don't want to turn up. Facing your own demons every single day. That's the hardest fight, really. You have to live in your head every single day. You know, getting in the ring for 36 minutes is no problem.
After the first fight, obviously in the first one you used a lot of emotion. How did you manage to channel that for the rematch? Because tonight you were very composed, you didn't smother your work, you used the jab effectively. How did you manage to switch back and almost take that emotion out of it to make sure you won?
It's the chip on my shoulder. People saying, oh, you can't box, you can't do this. It was like, all right, cool, well, watch then. Because ultimately you say I can't do it, that's because you can't do it. I can do it because I'm set my mind to do it, and that was my fuel. I wake up in the morning and go, whoa, what? People think I can't box? Or people think I can't act boxing for 12 rounds? Watch me. And that was my fuel. Everyone has their chip on their shoulder that gets them going and gets them out of bed. That was mine for the camp.
Conor, Radio Raheem down in the front. Last time we sat here, you were gutted because you couldn't get the knockout. You said it was just out of your reach. Tonight, the same. You got closer tonight, but is it still going to haunt you, even in victory, that you couldn't quite get the knockout finished?
I did say early on in the week there was going to be a systematic beatdown, and that's what I done.
Eubank said in the first round he knew he had made a mistake tonight. At what point in the fight did you know that he had made a mistake and this was going to be your night?
When I hit him with that right hand, that was when I knew I don't think he recovered. There was a body shot I threw in there early on, and I just targeted the body early on. The stiff jabs to the body, the right hooks to the body, the straight right hand to the body. It broke him down, and that was my strategy going in and staying disciplined.
You were right. You took his soul in the first fight as well.
Yeah, I did.
You were shouting something to him at the end of that round. What were you saying?
I was just saying, it's easy work. Is that all you got? It was easy work, but the fight could have easily been the same fight if I hadn't been disciplined. There was moments in that fight where I was like, well, you want to go? Well, let's have it then. And it's hard for me to sort of tone it down because I'm that character, I'm that guy in my head. So for me, it really is just me fighting myself in there and being disciplined. And I felt like a lot of pressure from my team, as in Tony and my dad, and to get it right. Because you can't get it right for 8 weeks and then not get it right fight night. Like, you'd be a mug, you know. So for me, it was like I really wanted to do Tony proud because he knows I can do it, but you can't do it until you've done it. I done it.
And last one from me. Obviously, it's tied now. Is there any appetite?
Done.
Is there any appetite whatsoever?
I don't know how long I can make 1474. So for me, I mean, listen, money always talks, doesn't it? But for me, for my personal reasons, how much money do you need? So for me, it's let me get that world title, and for me, that would be a box ticked.
Conor, congratulations. Nigel, I had a question for you. You've been honest in the past about wanting more from Conor, but tonight he took a huge step forward and did brilliantly. How proud are you to be Conor Benn's dad? And how are you going to deal with all the jokes at home now?
You're trying to make us cry up here now.
Thank you for that, because this actually, I don't know if Conor knows, but this is actually my last training camp. I won't be coming over no more. I've been coming over for spending like sometimes 6 to 8 months of the year here. I can't do it no more. I've got 3 lovely kids in Australia that need me. I've got a lovely wife who stood by me through thick and thin, and me and my wife are on the other side of the clock now, and I need to spend quality time with my wife and my little boy Levi. I spent 10 years with Conor.
Does that mean I'm bringing you all over then?
No, you're not. No, you're not. I spent 10 years with Tony and Conor, helping him get to where he is today. And now I've got a lovely little boy, Levi, who wants to be a professional footballer. And now I've got to start working on his mindset. Conor's in good hands. Got Tony, Lee, Pedro, Dan, Justin, Kaleem. He's got an unbelievable team and a lovely wife as well, Vic. And so I'm leaving him in good hands, but I got to spend my time with my wife, who stood by me through thick and thin and loved me through everything that I went through. And I thank you, Caroline, because you actually made me the man that I am today. Without you, I don't even know I'd be here.
Oh.
So thank you.
Conor.
But Nigel, you just got a six-pack back.
And she wants me to keep it for her.
Conor, what does it actually mean to you personally and for your dad to win this battle and win it for the Benn family name?
Do you know what? I'd say it would be on par with winning the world title for me, winning tonight. It meant a lot to me. You think 3 years in my career, this has been the fight. Family feud, it's generational. It's never been done before in history. So to forever have that win means a lot to me, and it will forever be cemented in history.
Oh.
No.
Rachel was talking all things boxing. Conor, it's lovely to see you because obviously the last time I saw you was in this room a few months ago, and it's wonderful to see you here with a big smile on your face and with the victory. I felt quite emotional seeing you all in the ring because it just was very evident how much it meant to everybody up there, not just the family. And you spoke very honestly in the lead up to the last fight about loss being the thing you feared the most. And then you actually faced that fear and you tackled that demon, and it felt like that made you lighter almost, that you fear because you didn't have that fear anymore. Did you feel like that was apparent in this fight, that you didn't have to worry about that anymore?
I don't know, because it depends what you're fueled by. For me, I'm fueled by fear of losing. I'm fueled by fear of not being a winner. That's what gets me going. Some people say, well, why don't you just love winning? Well, I do love winning, but also fear losing more. And for me, I couldn't lose to the same man twice, because then you sort of avenge that loss. Did I really lose or did I learn? And for me, it was a massive learning curve.
Right.
It was my first stadium show, first fight at 160, first fight back in the UK. There was just so much going on, whereas now it's calm Conor is a better Conor.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful display of boxing. Well done.
Thank
it was
you.
just brilliant, and I'm really glad that I got to be a part of another night of history.
Thank you,
very
Rachel.
much.
James.
Conor, we just seen a clip of you walking into the change room there. In contrast to April, and also, as Eddie mentioned, what you've been through and how low you were, and people around you saying you should give it away and all of that, to be able to give those people that moment in that changing room, what does that mean to you?
There's a lot of people in the changing room that were there for me during them times, gave me words of advice, helped carry me through, because ultimately I couldn't do it alone. I wasn't strong enough to do it alone. I had good support people around me, gave me wisdom, and helped carry the load. So for me, everyone in that room, the win's for them. The win's for every single one of us. Because when I was down, we was all down. And when I'm up, we're all up. I wouldn't be the man I am, I wouldn't be the fighter I am, I wouldn't be who I am without my team. I left my family in Australia, so the team that I've built around me now is from day dot. Ain't no one new here. This is 10 years of team, same team, through and through. No change. So for me it's loyalty to them and appreciation to them, and ultimately I work as hard as I do to repay them for supporting me through the past 2-3 years.
And just, Eddie, how close is that world title fight, do you think, for him?
It's there. I mean, he's, of course, I know heavyweight sometimes are a different kettle of fish, but as far as I'm concerned, Conor Benn's right up there with the biggest star, not just in British boxing, but in world boxing. He's just filled a stadium twice. The story's incredible. And, the emergence of him, we know the story coming out of his father's name, and that's the difficult thing to do. And what is remarkable about him and Chris Eubank Jr, to be fair, they're both really tough kids, and boxing is not generally for people that come from that background, but it is when it means something to you and you've got a passion for it and you love it and it's built within you, and that's with Conor. So the future is so exciting. Now we'll go and do the science with Dan and Conor to do it effectively, to get down to that weight, because it's not just making that weight, it's performing at that weight to the best of his ability. But he's going to walk in and people were calling him out after the Chris Eubank loss. Now he's won. I mean, like, with all due respect to Haney, Norman, Rolly Romero, Lewis Crocco, we represent. This is the star of the 147-pound division. This is the money of the division. That's why everyone's calling him out. So we're going to be just fine. But Conor's right. I didn't agree with all of what he said, because he kind of said, I've got the money now and that's not as important. Sure, come Monday, that'll be a different conversation.
Of course it will.
But the reality,
sounded good though, didn't it?
Was. Yeah, I was actually thinking, wow, this sounds good, but then I thought, don't be silly. But the reality is he is right. Now, you can't, people talk the legacy's World Championships, it is. That was legacy tonight. That was legacy in April. Those scenes, I mean, those drummers up there to Phil Collins, and even Eubank coming out to 50, where do you see stuff like that? It was unbelievable. But I know that every time he trains in his gym at home, he's got that WBC belt that his dad won up on the wall, and he's looking at that every day and he says, I'm going to get one of them. The Barrios fight's there, the Crocker fight's there, the Haney-Norman fight's there, but like I said, we're in such a wonderful position. We've got a big fan base, we've got a wonderful, broadcaster behind us, and like he said, and I want to just say one thing as well. This team of people, you see a lot of them, they're all wearing blue tracksuits in here. Every one of you, what a job, what commitment. Tony Sims, the job that he has done to bring Conor Benn through. You never see Tony going out, doing all these interviews, building his own social media. He's he's not even an underrated trainer, because everybody in boxing knows what a great trainer is. But honestly, you've worked so hard.
Do you know what though? Like, a lot of trainers get fighters that come on through the GB setup, or they're well established as an amateur. Tony's taken me from a raw novice, like from a guy.
You were rawer than raw.
I was terrible. I was terrible. If I told any of you lot we'd be sitting here in this room today, back then you lot would think I'm mad. Every single one of you. So that's credit to Tony as a trainer. He's shaped me and moulded me into the fighter I am now. But not only the fighter I am now, but the mindset I have and the work ethic we put in. He's been like my second dad here. I've left my family in Australia and come here, and when there's a shoulder to lean on, it's Tony. Through and through the worst of it together. And now we're sitting here through hard work and perseverance and diligence to make sure that even through the bad times we see it through together. Because it was a bad time for me and Tony. So it's win is for me and Tony in here today.
And also, I think Tony would agree, when you busted your jaw and you were out for ages, you never left the gym. You were always in the gym, even with a broken jaw. Working, obviously not sparring, but you never stopped working. And also, just a shout out to Dan Lawrence or Pedro, also an unbelievable addition to the team. Lee Emptage, you've been unbelievable. You are literally, you do not leave his side. Unbelievable.
Go on, Lee.
And even through the tough times, you were suffering, and I'm sure you were trying to get paid as well, but it never really happened for you. But you had to wait a long time, but you stuck in there through and through. And two other people as well, I just want to say, Everlast. I think there's a couple of people in here today. When the chips were down and it would have been very easy for them to walk away, they stayed. And as I said to Michael Murray tonight, thank you. That'll always be remembered. And we look forward to the new contract negotiation as well. That was a joke, a little bit of a joke. And also DAZN, who, when it was easy to turn you back, like everybody else, and go, well, let him get on with his appeal and then we'll deal with it later. They went, no, we're going to back him. And they won tonight as well. So thank you to those people.
Yeah, I got
I'll address this to Conor, but Nigel, I spoke to you after the first fight in April and I said, how can Conor become bigger and better in the same way you did against Chris Eubank Jr. all those years ago? I know many people thought you got the win. He did just that tonight, was bigger, was better. So Conor, this one goes to you, but Nigel, feel free to jump in. How good does that feel?
It feels great, mate. It feels great. There's not really much more I can say. I don't still feel like it's sunk in. I'm still like going through it. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like we're done now. Like it's just like I can breathe. Like this has been like 3 years of my life hearing Ben Eubank Ben every single day. So for me to sit here and go, yeah, it's done, and I've ended it on a win. That's chapter closed. Let's just move on now.
Conor, congratulations with the win. Would you say the experiences from the first fight allowed you to perform as well as you did tonight?
Yeah, do you know what? If I had performed exactly the same and done the same thing first time round, I would have classified the first fight as a loss. I would have gone, well, what do you learn? What's the whole point here? If you don't adapt and you don't change, you don't grow. You know, so you have to go through things in life. Sometimes take a loss, sometimes go through a bit of adversity. But it's what you find out about yourself and who you are. Can you change? Can you adapt? Can you grow? Can you get better? And for me, that was a big thing in my head. It was a big theme in my camp to do better. Just do better. That's it. Just do better. And that was what kept driving me as well.